Hello and welcome. I'm Steve.
And I'm live.
And I'm Brett.
And this is Fools with Tools, a podcast for the birthday Bacchus boys. Bacchus boys.
He messed up.
Barhouse.
Right.
What?
Do it. Start again.
No, we're going with that one. Hi, everyone. So anyone that is not listening live, watching live, we're live. We're live on YouTube because it's our birthday. It's been 4 years of this shit, and we still don't know what the fuck we're doing. And Al keeps changing camera angles, and it's really confusing. Gentlemen, how are we? What's everyone up to? Al, what have you been up to, seeing as you're fancy with your camera angles?
He's going to take
I know
a
it
drink
seems
first.
fancy, but the reason is because one of the batteries will die before this episode ends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a backup cam, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's my clicker? Can I do this? I'm like, back up. So that it is purposeful, but also it's cool. What have I been up to? So, other than working ridiculous hours, it's getting beyond a joke now. Earlier in the week, I have completed phase 2 of the climbing instructors course.
Woo!
So this included abseiling, which, although the cubs and that have to climb to exactly the same point, and they've already done it before, for some reason, abseiling absolutely terrifies them all, and they all start crying and say that they can't do it and they don't want to. But basically, the way it's set up, they can't. They have to do it. There's no other way of getting down. Other than climbing over and going down the stairs inside the building with their rope still on. So it's like, we can do this, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. So, lots of crying children. And also getting my hair caught in the belay while I'm trying to abseil the child down. So I learned my lesson. And also with my beard as well, because that kept getting caught in the gree-gree. So it was... tied up beards from now on and fully tied back hair.
Oh, you should get one of the beard hairnet things.
Oh,
the beard
like
nets.
a cheesery net. So I'm halfway through the climbing instructor course, which is great. This weekend I've been helping my next door neighbour, who is elderly, with his garden, because he absolutely loves his garden. He loves his gardening. He's always got the best garden on the street. But unfortunately, he's kind of taken a bit of a turn for the worst. He's not as sprightly as he used to be. So I'm just helping him out with the grunt work, basically. So
is that the guy that's that side of you, not the guy that you share the drive with?
Not drive guy, other guy.
Yeah,
Jim,
cool.
Old Jim, not old chip Jim, just regular old Jim.
Actual old Jim, as opposed to just old Jim.
Just old, yeah. And it's been nice because the weather's nice, so a lovely little bit of gardening. And I've started to build the frame in the back of the camper for the bed. So I did a temporary one for the girls a couple of weeks ago that was just a sheet of OSB, but now it needs to be a proper frame, slatted and stuff, so it's breathable, storage underneath, etc., etc. You know the drill. So that's just, at the minute, it's just timber. And also, while everything's out, I took a chance to strip out the speaker cables, put in the old car stereo speakers, the ones that were in the Hack Shack. Yeah. Because they're 500 times better than the stock Suzuki ones. So it doesn't
really? You surprised me.
Now my mini disc player sounds sweet as a nut. And also fully wrapped and painted the rear bumper as well. So the front and rear bumpers are all now finished, refurbed, fixed, repaired, painted. They look great.
You look great.
I do look great. And yeah, that's about all I've been up to.
You had to wait until I was taking a sip, didn't you? You fucker. Yeah. That sounds wonderful. I particularly enjoyed the bit where you got your beard caught.
I didn't. There was literally a child hanging off my beard, 30 feet down, and nothing you can do.
No. Just.
Whereas, because I'd implemented the Italian hitch, it meant I could lock it off and then release the child and then lock it back on with no safety issues.
Nice.
Brett knows what I'm talking about.
I say the only knot that I know is the trucker's hitch, and that's purely from the Yelvis song. Which, if you don't know, go to YouTube and check it out because it's fucking hilarious. Brett, what about your hour's gone? Brett, what about you? What? Hey, what have you been up to?
I have been working on the cabin, very diligent about trying to do the shower area and refinish the bathroom. It has become one of those can of worms situation where it was meant to be just ripping down some drywall and refitting things and putting the shower pan in and all that stuff. And of course, within the process, I realized that I could work on the electrical, I could work on the plumbing. It's the first time I've done both of those things in terms of a house that has to be done correctly, not only for code, but also, you know, if I screw up the plumbing, I get water in my walls and then the walls fall down and then I get very upset with myself. So been learning a lot, doing all of that. I made the hilarious mistake of starting to do the shower plumbing or the drain plumbing. And I have no idea why it worked out this way, but I just went, right. So I put a shower cap on this pipe and then I do the shower mortar and then the tiles and everything. So I put this cap down on the existing pipe, glued it with the PVC glue, the whole shebang, which sets up super fast. And then took about 3 steps away only to realize that it was sticking up about 2 inches above where it needed to be. And now it's glued in place. So I'll be trimming that down, hopefully, if I can. And it wasn't it will be an energy and time expenditure, but luckily it wasn't a very expensive mistake to have made. But I know we've all done this, but it was genuinely like, right, I know what I'm doing. I did it and then went, that is wrong instantly. Just there wasn't 30 seconds before I realized how wrong it was. And in that 30 seconds, that glue sets up so fast. So I grabbed it and tried to like yank it off. I was like, no. It just wasn't moving anywhere. Beyond that, I got the Ammonite video out, which I'm very proud about how that piece was finished and turned out. I had a good time editing the video. And then took a day off yesterday to go and forage with a couple of the boys, the local boys, just having a bit of a play and kind of taking a day off from filming or doing any responsible things, which was nice. Just a bit of a play around and smashing steel on a hydraulic press for funsies. Nice. But that's been me this week.
Nice.
Yeah. I got a mammoth tusk.
Yes, you did. You got a mammoth tusk and a whalebone.
Yeah, I got to do something.
Not the same kind of whalebone that Jeff was talking about in the Full Blast podcast. That's an entirely different thing.
Quite.
Yeah.
But I've got more cool displays.
A penisy thing? Or
yes, an actual penisy thing.
A tool for folding paper.
Ooh.
It's also called the whalebone.
Is it?
Incredibly handy tool, yeah.
I've never heard that.
Or maybe it's for a
Did I tell you about the camera thing? See, wasn't I prepared? And it turned off, but I'm still here.
Yes, you were. Well done, you. Yes. You can have a cookie. Hey,
hey, I need to read our comment section because Red asked, "What about you, Steve?"
What about? Thank you, Red.
Don't encourage him, Red.
Somebody cares. Thank you.
You'll talk about Alex's book again.
That's why I've got all this in red, because red. Yes, the book. So, one of the many things that I keep saying, "Ooh, something exciting's happened," and I can't talk about it, and then Brett gets annoyed with me because I'm keeping secrets from the public. Is the book. So, as well as doing the cookbook that we did last year, in October, Alex is releasing a new book entitled Blacksmith. Brilliantly original title there. But it's basically, it's not a how-to. It's more just kind of like, it's just a bit more information about blacksmithing in general, rather than being like you definitely need to do this, you definitely need to do that. It's talking about like the history behind it, a bit of the folklore, and like the differences between an apprentice, a master, a journeyman, and everything else. And yeah, it's I've read the first like 3 chapters, and it's really fucking good. And there's some really nice photography in it. And pardon me. And yeah, I'm super excited about that coming out. And it is available for pre-order on Amazon because for some reason it's only being sold through Amazon, which Al isn't particularly happy about, but it's part of the deal that he had with the book company. So there's not really anything we can do about it. But yeah, if you want to pre-order it, go onto Amazon and just search for Alex Pole and it should come up. Other than that, I have spent a lot of time playing on the Xbox still because I was still in isolation, which was super fun during the hottest week ever. But went back into work on Friday, and then Saturday was teaching a knife making class. And it is was the last the last knife making class for the foreseeable future. We've got an axe class this weekend, another axe class the weekend after, and then 2 chef's knife classes. And then that's it. We are not teaching for the foreseeable future, probably not until we change premises, just because we have so much production work to get on with. And the teaching space is more valuable as a production area than it is as a teaching workshop. And we just can't afford to have the luxury of teaching for funsies anymore. So yeah, as part of like the expansion of the business, it means that we've actually got to stop doing some bits, which kind of sucks because I really like teaching. And like this year was the first year that I taught the knife class on my own, and not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm actually teaching the axe class, and it will be the first time that I've taught the axe class, and also probably the last time that I'll teach the axe class, which is kind of bittersweet, but at the same time, it kind of means there's very little pressure on me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a bit of fun with that, and just doing a bit more teaching because I do enjoy it. It's a shame that we're only going to get these last like 3 or 4 classes in, but I think we're going to be doing some at festivals and things like that, and maybe do some more kind of like event stuff rather than like formal classes. So doing more kind of like getting people in and putting on a show and having fun, which, you know, is what we're pretty good at. We like to act like rock stars, even though we're just dickheads. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of that, and maybe even getting Mr. Alphonse to come along with us and cook some food whilst we hit some metal and do some more bits like that. And if we're doing stuff like that, like going to festivals and things, then it would be really good to have a thing in which to drive there and stay in. So like Alphonse has the Vitara camper thing that I can't remember the thing for. Kat has been looking at an old Renault minibus that this old boy has converted into a camper. And I mean, it's all fucking chipboard that's been cut down, but he's done it in like really ingenious ways where like the shower cubicle all folds down. So if you're not using it, or the shower and toilet, like it folds down out of the way. So if you're not using it, it just becomes a sideboard. But then when you want to use it, it all kind of unfolds and you can have a relatively spacious toilet and shower experience. And all of this, like it is fairly dated and fairly well worn, but it's such a great base to kind of build off.
As dated and worn as the one that Seb bought.
Which one? A different kind of dated and worn, because like this was built by this was bodged together by a random guy. This wasn't like a proper build. But like the guy that did it is super nice. So yeah, it looks like Kat might be buying a camper, which I'm kind of hoping she lets me use occasionally, because
I mean, it was kind of the instigator for the Vitara was the opportunity to go to events like good life or whatever, or
Yeah.
you know, help out with you guys and just not have the ball ache of setting up tents. you
Yeah.
know, trying to drive a Honda Civic into a field.
Yeah.
Just not have to worry about it. You know, that was the point.
Yeah.
Cross that off the list of worries and actually concentrate on the thing that you're there to do.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is why I was really looking at getting like before getting a transit and kind of converting it into something that had like just a basic bed and like wash basin in it. But that could be folded up out of the way and used as storage, and then using that to do all of the like transporting all of the gear to the festivals, and then sleep in it like as well. But then I realized that meant buying a van and then doing all the work to convert it. And I have enough projects going on as it is, so probably better not to do that for now. Yeah, sorry, you go, Al.
Yeah, no, Van Bants. So my friend Dave over the road, who passed away,
yes,
who I'm not helping with the scouts and stuff. He had a big motorhome which we managed to sell and you know kit out and stuff. So Liz is now converting her because he was in a wheelchair. They had one of those like a Renault Kangoo, like cars that you can drive the wheelchair up into the back.
Yeah.
So she's now got that, and it's the perfect for a camper van. So she's building her own camper van.
That's awesome.
She's already, because she's retired, she's already like 15 steps ahead of me. She's only been doing it for 2 weeks, and she's 70. And she's converting this camper van. And then today I was just helping her make a sink. So she's got a little like water tank, and I've just like got a stainless steel bowl, drilled a hole in it, fitted a drain thing to it.
See,
piece of piss.
I love that. That's what you've done for the sink. In this thing, the sink in the bathroom, not the main sink, like the kitchen sink, but the sink in the bathroom is an empty ice cream container. But he's routed out this bit of chipboard and put the ice cream container in it, so it sits in there perfectly. It's just and he kind of said like it's easy to replace once it breaks. You just buy some ice cream. It's fucking brilliant.
Love it.
So yeah, I'm super excited about if she ends up buying that, getting to kind of muck around with that and fix it up a little bit. But yeah, that segues beautifully into our topic this week, which is the fact that it's our birthday. Cheers. There we go. Everyone drinking. This is fantastic for those of you listening. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just drinking coffee while you guys drink your alcohols.
No one's listening to this. This should not go up as audio. This should just be a one-off, Makers International-esque live chat bants only.
This is very true, actually. But yeah, so we were going to answer a few questions. So I'm expecting a few to be asked in the chat, which I have kind of half been looking at, but not. I just got really excited because I saw Maker Monster had joined. I
know. I was just about to say the same thing.
But yeah, I'm not. I am paying attention to the chat, but I've not seen any questions in there yet. So I was going to take a few from the thread in the Facebook group. Why was that so difficult to say?
I've selected some gems.
Oh, have you got one to go? I was just going to start off with like a really simple one. But if you've got,
I actually thought about it. This might be an inside joke that I don't get. Jamie Reeders, what's your stance on beekeepers?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure that's something to do with the Irish lads. But
so can I just sort of side swipe that question?
You can do whatever you want.
Just give wasps a chance. Everyone's banging on about bees all the time, and all they do is complain about wasps, and wasps just get killed, beaten away, complained about on picnics. It's like they serve a purpose too, and they're carnivores. They eat flies. They I like wasps. They pollinate fruit to some extent. You wouldn't have figs without wasps. Yeah. Wasps are great. Just give them a chance.
And the thing is everyone complains about wasps like they're some kind of asshole. But like, when was the last time you were actually stung by a wasp?
Probably while you were trying to kill it. So it serves you fucking right. Give wasps a chance.
It's the same with spiders.
Please.
Swat. I am very arachnophobic, but I don't fucking kill spiders because they catch flies. I don't like flies. Flies are annoying. So
spiders are great.
Yeah, exactly. They're brilliant animals. Like they're really
there is a very nice recent episode on ologies, which Steve, I believe you were the one that told me about that podcast. They did an entire episode with an expert on wasps and things that aren't bees. So they talk all about the benefits of wasps and all of the good things that they offer. So go listen to ologies. Recently, they talked.
To be fair, on the topic of bees, like I fucking love bees and I really want to do beekeeping, but that's because I like beeswax. Inside Alan asked a question in the chat, which was, it's your first fucking hell. I've only had half a can. To be fair, I have had 2 ice creams as well. It's your 4th birthday. When did you last poo yourself? Brett, you go. When did you last poo yourself?
This morning. No, I don't know. It was a young lad. I got out of diaper training early. Haven't had a problem since.
That's disappointing.
I know.
What do you want from me, Steve? I'm in control of my bowels. I'm so sorry.
I went to Marseille. Pro tip: don't go to Marseille. It's a shithole.
Yeah.
There's so many other nice places in France. And we went to a restaurant.
Grenoble's instead.
Oh, Grenoble, beautiful. Went to Red's probably spinning in his not grave about how we pronounce Grenoble. Yeah, in a restaurant in Marseille, Moule Marinière, and you know when something's not right.
Yeah,
and you know this is going to come back to haunt me, and just middle of the night, just shit myself in the bed in the hotel.
See, the last time for me, I was. This is before I was gluten free, so this is a few years ago, and I was working a ridiculous amount of hours that week, and it was like the last day of my on call, and I'd had like a load of shit go off, and I was like, I need some food that I don't have to think about, so just ordered some like a pizza and some wings off of Domino's. Got that, ate it whilst I was fixing this issue, and like demolished the lot, and then about 3-4 hours later was just about to go to bed after having like sorted this thing, and just went, I don't feel so good, and basically just spent the next 2 days like attached to the toilet. And then when I was finally like, okay, I think I feel safe, and Murphy's going round the fucking twist because he's not been out for a walk for 2 days, and like barely the week before because I've been working so much. It's like, sorry, I'll take Murph out for a quick walk. Took him out, and like 400 yards from the front door, I was like, just gonna push out this little fart. Oh, I've never.
Brett's looking at us both with utter like disbelief and disgust. Like, you're grown men. Why are you shitting yourselves? Brett, I've got a speed round question just for you.
Have at it.
And it's from John McAvoy in the chat. Can he use just a normal, regular cooking angle grinder with the fancy tools that you have from Arbotech, or does it have to be a fancy angle grinder?
No, I believe it's an any grinder situation.
Any grinder will do.
Yeah,
any grinder will do.
Decent bit of torque.
It has a few different clips and bits and bobs to attach their dust collection system, and I don't know, but the rest of the stuff you can buy it on their website, and it pretty much fits on any standard angle grinder. So
yeah, right. I've got a question from I've got this is 2 questions. The first one is the correct pronunciation of the guy's name. Is it Niall? Niall? Niall. Yeah, there we go. I'm never quite sure. And his question is, what episode from the back catalogue stands out for you for good or bad reasons? And I have 2 that stand out for me. The first one is the first time that each of you came on. So like the first time Al came on, the first time Brett came on, just because it was like it wasn't like having it wasn't like doing an interview with someone that I didn't particularly know. It was just having a load of banter with some friends, and even straight off the bat, like even banter, like even with like Brett when you came on, and it was like there was like with me and Al, obviously there's a lot of cultural stuff being both similar age and from the UK, but with like the film and the pop culture and everything else, and it was just like, oh shit, these are my people, and yeah, so that was great. But the one that we've done since then that I had the most fun with, I think, was the what was the guy's name? The fictional guy that we did a logo for.
High Voltage, Mr.
Yes,
what's his name?
Not Tim. The guy
Tim.
that wasn't Tim.
It was Tim.
Yeah, but the High Voltage.
Jeremy Ash.
Jeremy Ash.
That's it.
Which reminder, that was a guy that went to my school. He was our football assistant coach when I was in 7th or 8th grade. His name was Jeremy Ash.
Brilliant.
Anyway,
but yeah, no, that one was it was such a fun episode, and I genuinely got a lot out of it. And like aside from a few of the ones where we've talked a little bit more about mental health, I think it's one of the ones that I've had the most like comments and people saying stuff about from. So yeah, that would be my kind of picks. What about you guys?
Can I just do a wasp callback?
Yeah.
Other than Damo being allergic to wasps, so I'm sorry about that, dude. There's not much I can do about that. Andy Pugh, who I believe everything he says that bees are a type of wasp.
That doesn't sound right.
that can't
let that marinate for a bit while Brett thinks of his favorite or least favorite episode.
Yeah, least favorite is good. Least favorite's probably like when we had Honor on or something like that. Fucking Honor.
Yeah, mine's the Tim Turgworks episode.
No, mine was the Lost episode. That was just amazing. It was the best episode we've ever done.
That was so good.
Disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, but we released it. I stitched it back together like about 6 months afterwards, and we put it out.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm just going to believe what I said, which was it's gone forever.
Like the Snyder cut.
And then, seriously, I thought that one was really enjoyable because that was early enough on, and we had such a good chat. And I remember us all being kind of devastated because we wanted it to be a thing. And then it became just a running joke there for a little while that we had the Lost episode. So that was a fun start because I had not known you guys for very, very long at that point. And then I think for my own sake, it was the other one would be the failure episode where we talked a bit about failures and how we handle these things. And I was having such a rough day or week because it was when I tried to make the hammer for Tony Rouleau, and I was devastated it didn't work out correctly. But obviously Tony was a sweetheart and it still functioned and served its purpose. But I felt so bad because I wanted to over deliver on this thing, and you guys turned it into an extremely cathartic chat about stuff we all deal with, and that was a really important episode / moment to kind of get out of that funk. And then also just being reminded by Tony not too long afterwards of like, hey, everything is awesome, you're great.
Yeah
Although I did like the Tony episode just because even just being digitally near him gets me moist. But I'm gonna
fucking lovely.
I'm gonna have to go with a slightly different guest episode, and it's when we had Rory on.
Yes,
because just there's an aura about that man and his presence and his demeanor and his attitude is just magnetic and infectious.
Yeah,
and nothing but positive. And I think just even there's just stories and it was like I was in the audience.
Yeah.
In our own podcast.
Yeah, I like that. I think
and I think if anyone listening has not listened to the Dirty Smith episode, episode 21, so a long time ago.
Fuck.
3 years ago.
Oh, the Fool Fly episode was great though too.
Yeah,
everybody. Because Joe was
maybe choose 2 or 3 of your favorite episodes, Brett.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you've not listened to it, go back and listen.
Yeah.
What about the girls takeover episode? That was also fun.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was class.
I was gonna say there were so many good guests that we've had on. But I think
Why is our podcast just better when we have other people on it?
My favorite
It's not-
episode is one we didn't do.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think my favorite thing to come out of doing this, though, was the video that Soph put together for our first birthday, I think it was, where she made these guys, which I realize is out of focus. I can't work hands. That thing, the mini pop figures, and yeah, it was like a fucking half-hour video of loads of people saying happy birthday, and it genuinely got me in the feels and made me well up quite a lot. But yeah, it was fucking lovely. Soph's ace. I miss Soph. I want to go to Mega Central and stuff and just hug Soph. Yeah. Next question. What's the next question? So Alan asked a load of questions. One of them was, what's your favorite movie? Which I am refusing to let you two discuss because we will just talk about that for fucking hours. It's like asking what
fucking hour.
Yeah,
I've got one.
What's asking your favorite dish? Fuck that.
Go on.
Go on
It's quick pre-question.
Okay.
Because I think you already answered it, Steve. Have you ever done Princess Leia buns with your hair?
I've never done the buns. I have done the pigtail thing, so.
Oh, very nice. Mine, I think
good.
mine's too bushy to do anything.
And I once did the Willie Nelson 4 plaits, so 2 plaits at the front, 2 plaits at the back, and then kind of had them all tied together at the back. It looked fucking ridiculous. It was great.
So this one, and I want Brett's answer first because this may amuse me.
It's about shitting yourself. I don't want
No,
to do this.
This culturally transcends. This isn't just an English thing.
Okay.
Have you ever had a nickname, and what is it?
Yes.
Ah, you dicks.
That's the one I was going to ask.
I had a running gag of a nickname or a couple while I was going through elementary, middle, and high school, especially since I was part of I don't even really know how this worked out, but I was part of student council, which was a thing that you were voted onto by your peers, and you kind of made decisions on the events and goings on within your school. When we received our beautifully comfortable hoodies and our little pullover hoodies, everyone had a nickname on their on the breast side, whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but everybody had picked everybody else's, or the two other people had put everybody's name down, and they put powder on mine because I was so pale.
You did loads of coke.
Yeah, I was doing
right.
loads of coke. So I had powder on a hoodie for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was the running joke of he's so pale, he's powder. But if you remember that movie, this is a horrible movie. And they were just making fun of the albino kid, and he got struck by lightning. I don't know. It was fucking horrible. But I had to accept it. What?
What movie is this?
You've never seen Powder?
No.
Okay, well the joke is lost. The joke is lost on you why I was given the name Powder. You have to look up the filmography of our boys from Boondock Saints and see what happened to one of the actors doing Powder. Anyway, it was Powder, or I got Little Mac a lot because I was the baby after my brother and sister had both gone through school. It was Little McAfee or Little Mac or something like that. That was about it. Powder was the one that got to me, though. I didn't really like it.
Yeah. Go on then, Al. What about you?
3 notable ones.
Yeah.
From various generations. Is that German 3? Sorry. Halbert.
Halbert?
Yeah.
Why?
So, because my name's Halfpenny, and it was Halb is half in German.
Yeah.
But Albert was the 5th Musketeer.
Oh!
So it was Halbert.
Quick question, language question. You lived in where did you Amsterdam for a while, didn't you? In Dutch, is the word for a set of clogs? If you fuck up one of the clogs, is the phrase for that? Does it literally translate as broken dream, or do you not even know that? Because that's what someone on the.
It's weird because I bought so many clogs while I was there, because I was living in the Netherlands.
And I was constantly losing one of them
and fucking them up. Yes, it's a common thing. So that phrase was like in regular conversation every day.
I don't know. I've only ever been there twice. I don't know what they talk about.
Steve, you're English. You know when you drop a bucket down the well and it makes that sound as it hits the rock just before it lands into the water.
Yeah.
What's the traditional term for that sound?
Clang. I don't know.
Clanger.
Anyway, so we've got Hal Bear, and then all the time, the entire time I worked in restaurants, I was called cameraman. I was called Shizwald, and it was like Shizzle Manizzle, and I don't know why. I don't know if I expressed my penchant for Snoop Dogg at the time, or what instigated it, but yeah, Shiz or Shizzle Manizzle. Oh, it's gone. You can still hear me.
Yeah, just carry on.
So what I've realised is both cameras have the same life. They have the same lifetime. So they basically both died. So what I should have done, I should have staggered them. You see, Steve.
Yeah. Next time. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you want to? Do you say you've got 3 or 2?
The third one is bull, just because when I play football, I was just like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah. Well, that's just you in any situation.
I know that's my most apt nickname. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming back, by the way. This is not me done.
Yeah, no, I kind of figured that's why I was going to carry on talking whilst you sorted your shit out.
Steve, I want to know yours.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, I really like Bull for Al because it just makes sense, but at the same time, I can't imagine calling him anything other than Al. So
there's like 17 people in your life called Al. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it really is.
My friend, actually, who came up with Hal Bear, his dad is called Al, his sister is called Al, and his wife is called Al. So if ever I go around their house, there's 4 fucking Als in their house.
So when I was in sixth form, my group of friends, there was a few of us, but there was 4 Steves. So every single one of them had a nickname except for me. I was just Steve.
OG Steve, the original Steve.
Exactly, right? And yeah, so I've always
plain Steve.
Vanilla Steve. So yeah, I've always been.
So you two have just basically got like white supremacist.
Fuck. But yeah, no. So I did have a few nicknames growing up. And there's a definite theme here. So obviously my surname is House. So the one that me, my brother, and my cousin all had was Wendy. Because Wendy House.
Yes, that's a thing.
Do you not know what Wendy House is?
I was just thinking about burgers.
Is that the term for the bucket hitting the water?
Yeah, no, it's a Wendy.
It's a Wendy house
because it's a little bit windy down there.
Yeah. So a Wendy house is a child's playhouse, basically. It's quite a well-known term over here. So yeah, that was always it. The other one was when I was on working on building sites. I was called Poco.
Oh,
no, Poco, which was short for depending on who you asked, it was either short for Poco Peni, which was Spanish for small penis. It definitely wasn't.
That's
or the real one was the fact that it was short for Pocahontas because I've got long hair.
Oh, because of your long hair.
Yeah. And the other one,
Poco. Oh no, because you ruined the band.
And the last one was there's a shop in the UK called Long Tall Sally, which is a specialty shop for tall women, basically. And one of the guys that was drinking in one of the pubs that I worked in once walked in and went, "Long-haired Sally!" And that was it. It just stuck. And now, like, everyone in Sherborne just knows me as Sally. So, yeah, it basically Wendy, Pocahontas, or Sally.
It's the classic
Fine.
nickname triumvirate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, but like I say, it's always just been Steve.
Steve. Oh, that makes so much sense, though. We are Steve.
Whilst I was talking, did either of you two pick out another question?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, Al's got it.
I'm going to fire this Brett's way.
Again.
So
Let's do it. I'm at it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Being that you're quite the connoisseur of the ground bean, how long can you go without coffee?
Oh, yes.
Oh God. Seriously, the last time I kind of pulled an all-nighter and I didn't want to remake coffee and I blew through the morning and then this was before I went to Monterey, which was like the 9-hour drive day. I just didn't have coffee on my normal schedule. The most debilitating headache hit me at about 8 o'clock in the morning, which is when I usually would, have my first cup of coffee. And it was off-putting, to say the least, how horrible I felt and how bad of a headache I got in the middle of what was going to be a long drive. And I hadn't put it together that you can't just like start drinking caffeine and it culls it. It's like your body has just gone into emergency mode and caffeine withdrawal mode. So if I had to be completely honest, maybe 12 hours, maybe 12 hours at very most. And I will start to feel it because I genuinely drink coffee all day long.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's the same for me because it's not the I'm tired unless I have a coffee. I need a coffee.
Yeah.
No, I need a coffee or otherwise I will get a migraine. And what's extra fun, I don't know if you've had these before, I've started getting ocular migraines.
Oh, yes.
Which is like this whole colourful like corona comes into your field of vision and just blinds you in one eye.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but actually it doesn't come with the pain of a regular anti-coffee headache, so you've not got the suffering from that respect. You've just got the what the fuck is going on, I can't see, I need to lie down for half an hour.
Yeah.
Or have very, very lots of shots of espresso.
Barely an inconvenience.
Because I'm clearly addicted.
Yeah. See, I always found with the because I always know them as silent migraines rather than ocular ones, but I think it's like the same thing. But I always used to find that coffee would make them like even worse. But I'd get one and I wouldn't be able to see for a while. And then I'd just go, well, I'm really fucking tired now. I need to go lie down for an hour and have a nap.
Well, what's trippy is it looks like the same thing that happens when you have an epileptic fit.
Yeah.
Which is basically these I used to call them little green men that used to come into my field of vision when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And they would come in and then it'd get bigger and bigger and take over your field of vision. And then you would basically have a seizure. So the first time I had an ocular migraine, I was like, whoa, fuck.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
And I was like, right, stop everything, unchoke my tongue out of my mouth, clear a space on the floor. And then I was like, I'm going to have a seizure. And then I was like, no, I've just got a weird not headache.
Yeah. But because I used to get migraines when I was working at Screwfix all the time, like quite regularly. And the only thing I could actually attribute it to was obviously working with computers for like 14 hours a day, but also the particular coffee that they served in the mornings. If I had 2 cups of that coffee, I got a migraine. If I didn't have any of that coffee or I didn't have any coffee until the afternoon, I was fine generally. So
if you didn't have any all day, you got a migraine.
Yeah, exactly. But it was only ever like this one particular morning coffee. Like if I took my own coffee in and made one, I'd be fine. But yeah, like with that, I used to get the weird kind of vision thing before an actual migraine as well. And it got to the point where I could turn around to my boss and be like, Lee, I've got a migraine coming on. I need to leave in the next like 5 minutes or I'm not gonna be able to see to get home.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. And he was really good. Like I could literally say, I've got a migraine coming, I've got to go. And he'd be like, yeah, that's fine, go. And
that's why you usually have 2 doormen, so it's fine.
Fuck you. But yeah, migraines fucking
2 more questions that aren't related to
migraines.
The migraines or the other topic that we talked about for an hour. Nicknames and migraines. I know the answer to this one.
Okay. There is an answer.
Who would you want to be stranded with on a desert island? One person.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna open this up to
Fictional
creatures. So it doesn't have to be a person.
Okay. So Murphy.
But no fictional characters, just anyone from planet Earth, living or dead.
But it could be a creature.
It could be a creature.
Yeah, see.
But what if it was just a cat?
Just be an egg if you want.
I could just have a black cat. I'd figure out what to do with that cat. Me and that cat would have a hell of a time.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it would be such a scamp. It would just be, hey, I'm trying to build a raft to get us out. And then it would play in the rope that I've been trying to create.
They're traditionally desert animals anyway.
They really are. They're
black cats.
You know how cats go out and bring you mice because it's like a sign of respect? It would just bring food and
guavas.
It would be like presenting its hunt. And then it would save me time and energy from having to go and hunt.
Guava.
Yeah.
Steve?
It would either be Murphy because
just because he's there and he's listening.
Basically, yeah, because I love him. Like, I'd love to say that it would be Joe because Joe would be super useful because he does like fucking bushcraft and everything, but he'd want to get up so early. Like, I don't know if I could cope with it. So yeah, I think it would just have to be Murph because if I was on a desert island, I wouldn't want people there because. Actually no, Red because it's fucking Red. He'd magic a boat out of thin air or something, and it would be fine. So yeah, Murphy.
I feel like Red would be a good one though. Because he would have a reason to like need to get home because of his family.
He'd get all cranky because there was. Oh no, he doesn't smoke anymore,
and he doesn't drink Coke anymore. So
he doesn't drink Coke, he doesn't smoke.
Yeah, so he'd just be there with like a coconut going. And being all fucking cool and not smoking a cigarette, just looking like Leon. Yeah. All right, Al. What about you?
I'm going to raise you, Joe, with Joe, because after last week,
average Joe,
the amount of fucking shit that boy knows that requires no fancy this or fancy that, or just on the spot thinking, creative thinking. He's pleasing on the eye, full of bants. I think I could quite happily survive for a day or two before we kill each other with Joe on a desert island.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that any other person, I'd just end up going fucking nuts. All right, next question from Mr. Chris Q. I think someone else actually already asked this back in the chat, but I can't remember who it was. But looking back on 4 years, is there a topic you'd like to discuss again, either because you don't think you did it justice or because you'd like to discuss it further? And see, for me, this is almost every single topic we talk about because I spend the next like 4 days going, fuck, why didn't I say that? And fuck, I didn't actually mean that. I meant this. And I didn't explain that properly because my mouth goes faster than my brain. But yeah, so pretty much everything we've ever talked about for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm the same. But even that in itself as a concept, I think is an interesting thing. Like, now we're so much older and wiser.
Seriously, the pictures from like Maker Central 2018, fuck, we look so young. It's mad. Don't like it.
The years have been hard.
Yeah,
on the body.
No, I'm totally with you. It's every single subject, and I have the kind of standout ones like Brett, talking about failure and things, and things that kind of resonate, and maybe things that resonated with the fools as well. So when we get great feedback with those, and obviously it's a bit more engaging than just a random silly chat about nonsense, which it normally is. They're the ones that linger with me for a long time because obviously they start conversations, they get things going. But yeah, I mean, I'm building on that. I would even like to have guests back on.
Yeah.
and go, what's a different take on what we talked about last time, or what's, instead of just your backstory, what's the kind of,
yeah,
how things have been since 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think I'd really like to get Joe back on, but like get him back on like every week and not have you two on. That'd be fucking great.
I'm done with that.
Yeah, no, I do. I think, to be fair, like a lot of the times we've kind of gone into the mental health stuff as well. Like it's a drum that I know we bang fairly regularly, but I do think it's important. I think it's something that is worth talking about. So yeah, I don't know whether I necessarily want to revisit it in terms of like giving it a different take. I just think it's an important thing to just constantly keep discussing.
Mm-hmm. I think there's been enough episodes where we've talked about the creative process and creativity, but I feel like it's a language that needs to be translated better and more often than it does. And with the three of us, I think we cover a lot of the ground of what it means to be Steve, production Smith, that you guys come up with these creative ideas, or Alex comes up with a form or something specific and you have to recreate it. That's a difficult thing to be able to do, is recreate something that is a creative project and then it becomes something tangible. Al, working in the digital field and doing marketing and research and dealing with clients, like how to make everything fresh and creative while thinking about the 9,000 variables that go into creating good design or good branding, is very, very important. And then I know, just coming from the art background, it's a language that I speak better than most other things that I try and discuss. I've just spent so much time around people, and then growing up and going through like very heavy, deep, like blow smoke up at each other's asses on a regular basis art scene, and then meeting really talented people that have no ego, and then kind of the back and forth between I don't know, the creative world or artists or whatever terminology you want to use. I just think we could revisit that 1,000 times and have 1,000 different discussions. And I think all of that bears repeating when we do discuss it. And I think there's some earlier episodes where we did talk about art. When we had Fader on pretty early on, he was talking about art versus craft. Like, that's a conversation that could span hours and hours and hours with the right people. And I think I would like to revisit some of those earlier episodes where you can tell all three of us have these opinions and we're all kind of, vibing on it. But now here we are 4 years later or 3 years later. How do things stand? Steve, you were still working in IT when we were having those creative discussions. And you're like, yeah, creative code writing is like,
yeah,
there's no basis of comparison compared to, what the rest of us do. But fun topics. I always really like discussing creativity.
Yeah, but every show that we come out of the back, I'm the same as you, Steve. I'm like, or there'll be one conversation in a show.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I want to do an episode on that.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of times like one of you said just a single sentence or something like that, and it's just stuck in my head. And I've wanted to expand on, like, I've literally wanted to go into the next episode and be like, right, let's. And normally it's like on a Tuesday after a couple of days and it's marinated. I'm like, fuck it, I want to get on and I want to record another episode now and talk about that one specific thing and just do a real deep dive into that topic. Because like you say, I think the trouble is when we record these, like there's a not an expectancy, but like there's almost like a sense of duty to keep the conversation going, to keep things flowing, and whether, I don't know whether you guys feel it as well, but like I especially feel like if there's any pause in the conversation, like it has to be filled. So I'm always kind of looking for not to just jump in ahead of you, but to make sure that the conversation's always going, so that there's not these weird like pregnant pauses sort of thing. So because of that, I'm not always giving subjects the time required to actually process the thoughts that I have. So quite often I'm saying stuff as I'm thinking it rather than refining those thoughts. And And yeah, after a couple of days, I'm like, fuck, I could have made such a better point. I could have said that so much better if I just waited 5 minutes and said it like this, or if I brought up this thing or whatever. So yeah, like for me, that's a big thing.
But I've got maybe an antidote to that, and it's like reminiscing is nice, and revisiting past subjects and past conversations is nice, but to sort of quote Tom Brady, for want of a better reference, I did it for Brett because of handing.
I love sports ball.
You know, Tom, what's your favorite ever Super Bowl win, or what's your favorite ever Super Bowl ring, championship ring? It's like, it's the next one.
Yeah.
So like to not have something from the past that you want to revisit or that you always want to listen to again, or is your favorite one. It's like, no, genuinely, my favorite conversation we ever have is the one we're going to have next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's hopefully it's new ground that we've not covered, or it's different insights from you two that will make me think differently about how I've always thought about things. And that's why we're still going after 4 years, is because that's the driver for me, is this idea that you can always rethink stuff.
Yeah.
So as much as I like these questions, like, oh, what's your favorite one? My favorite one's the next one.
Yeah, that's a good shout. And I think that, like, the amount of times that we do kind of, we bring up the same points and revisit them and go over them, and we look at them from different angles depending on the context of that episode. So there are certain things that we're going to say about creativity, for example, that in one episode we'll talk about it from one perspective, but in like the next 10 episodes we might come at it from a completely different perspective because we've got a different guest on, or we're talking about a different topic and how that segues into it or whatever. So yeah, I think, like, I wouldn't want to go back and redo any episodes as such, but there are definitely topics that I would like to that I enjoy revisiting.
Only because we didn't exhaust them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're limited by Captain fucking Stopwatch over there. I'll let you decide which one that is. Right, I've got one last question.
Oh yeah,
I've got one last question. You fucking.
What if it's the same one?
Ooh. Well, fuck it, I'm gonna go for mine first. Bollocks to you. If all the tools in your shop came alive, a la Pee Wee's Playhouse, which one would you get along with the best, and which one would you date? Ooh, right. So this is from Keith, and my first thought for which one would I get along with the best?
Keith question.
Right, I know. Like, my first thought was instantly like, oh, Angle Grinder, and I was like, no, it would be the angriest, loudest, most. It's basically Al, and
can't spell Angle Grinder without Al.
This is very true. But yeah, no, like I was like, no, Angle Grinder would be a terrible friend, and then was like, well, which one's like the fucking square, like that's going to be like a really like finicky, like anal retentive.
Who
annoying,
would be
like...
your best friend in the shop? A square?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm trying to go through all of the personalities. And I'm thinking, fuck, who would it be? And
Putty.
Well, I was thinking like maybe like, I don't know, like a fucking a marking knife or something like that. Someone that's like a bit laid back and it's just like, yeah, just whatever. No, a pencil, because they're just always useful and always helpful, and they're not in your face about stuff. In terms of who I date, shit, I don't know.
How's your anvil these days?
Yeah, I was gonna say like, not. I mean, don't get me wrong, I quite like curves, so like that. My anvil's got quite a nice waist to it, so I don't know, maybe. It's got quite a lot up top as well, so yeah, maybe the anvil. What about you guys?
Fair rationale.
I appreciate that our friend
I can come up with.
I appreciate that our good friend Inside Alan said I would take the power hammer because it's the only thing that could satisfy me. I'm like, damn, Mister. She is a pretty thing.
Yeah,
with a wide bottom.
I'm with not Inside Al or Tall Buck Al or 17 other Als. I'm with Irish Al. drill driver would be my best
Ooh.
mate, because they can undo their mistakes very easily.
Yes.
They're quick, not fucking about. They can be gentle, they can be rough. You could put different things in them, and they can do. No, I'm not on about who I'm dating, Steve. I'm on about who my best mate is. You can put different attachments in them, and they can do different things. You can put a wire brush on and strip paint. You can put a drill bit in and drill holes. You can put a driver in and drive things in. So they're versatile. They go both ways. And they're always there, and they're indestructible, and they don't care if you throw them. They don't care if you tell a joke about them or talk about them behind their back. They're relentless and full of tenacity. Drill driver would be my best mate in the shack.
Yeah. Can I also just quickly say, Keith, I both hate and love you for this question. It's awful. Who would you date? Which tool would you date?
HB.
Oh,
always giving beer out.
Good
At
shout.
the ready.
Al, you're on mute.
I don't need to mute to do my pout face.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to answer the question.
No, Brett nailed it.
Okay, fair. Brett, what about you? Who would be your friend, and who would you date from your workshop?
Power Hammer. Answers both questions.
Fair.
Have you ever heard of a pass-through hole, Steve?
Beg your pardon?
Also, you got to keep them greased up, and you got to maintain them and stuff. So there's something about the exchange of usefulness and also upkeep with the power hammer, right? Just take that however way you want. nothing like finding the correct lube for your power hammer.
Exactly. Go on then, Al. What was your other question? You've forgotten, haven't you?
He's frozen.
No, his eyes are still moving.
If you were a ruler of your own country, what would the first rule/law, depending on how you wanted to manage the ruffians, the prole, what would be the first rule that you put into action?
Until you said law, I was going to try and make a joke about a tape measure, but
people that
if you were the ruler of a country, what would be the first rule that you brought in to
go on?
Fucking
Steve.
metric, Brett, is the answer.
Yeah, people that drive in the rain with their lights off should be shot because it's really fucking annoying.
Drive in the rain with their lights off.
Yeah. As in, if it's raining, just turn your fucking headlights on.
What an extremely specific thing
very
with a horrible outcome.
Do you want? You heard it, Steve. Do you want to talk to us?
The amount of near misses and accidents I see on the roads over the last 20 years of people that have been hooning along when it's been hammering down, and they've got a car that's grey, so it's the same colour as the fucking road and the sky.
Now that I'm on board with.
And they've
got a grey car, or you're wearing a grey coat, or riding a grey bicycle. Fucking think about it.
Yeah, just turn your fucking lights on, so you don't get fucking seen and drive into someone.
England and all the roads in England are grey.
Honestly, that annoys me so much.
I've got a good one.
Oh, what's yours?
I want to hear Brett's first, in case it's related.
I can go if you want. Go on, Al. Come on.
So, in some countries, you have national service. I'm sure there'll be some of our friends here listening, watching, who are in countries like that. I think there should be a national service in every country for every person where you have to work a job in catering.
Yeah. I was going to say hospitality.
And I mean that, anything like that. And I mean that genuinely. Yeah. I don't mean that because it's so hard. It's like being in the army. No, until you appreciate what it's like to serve someone and be treated like shit and be paid shit and work ungodly hours and destroy your body
and
lose all your friends and family,
Yeah.
You've no idea what it's like. But I think, and I hope, 90% of the people that listen to this have already done this. So
Yeah.
you've served your country well. Move on. But if it was my country, you got to do a year's national food service.
I really like that idea, and I would replace this very flippant gap year that seems to exist everywhere, where people are like, I'm just going to take a year off after university and do whatever I want. I'm like, how did you get to do that? That seems very nice that you get to take a break and travel around for a year. I don't know, whatever. Maybe you worked in the service and hospitality and made enough money to go and, travel through Europe with a backpack. Great for you. But I would replace the gap year with a servitude year.
Yeah, I mean, I've said for years that people should do at least 6 months in the service industry, just because it's like the amount of people that just don't understand what a difference it makes to just be polite and don't be a dickhead. Don't just wave a £20 note at the bar staff. Like, just basic human decency.
Basic human decency.
Go on then, Brett, what's yours?
Well, I kind of got distracted listening to Al's because it was so much better than mine. I'm trying to recall what I had come up with. Oh yeah, I got it. So almost, I think it shares a little bit with what Al said. The whole clean shop, happy shop thing, we've talked about it so many times. And I don't think it's realistic, even if you were a ruler and could impart this iron fist on things. I don't think you could necessarily tell people to fully embrace the clean shop, happy shop thing in all aspects of their life. But I was having a conversation about a few of the places that I've lived, i.e. New York City and Las Vegas. And they are both places with tons of tourists and tons of like plastic and waste and all kinds of things, right? Bins overflowing on the regular in both of those cities. I would like to impart some type of clean city, happy city, or clean country, happy country, where you are incentivized, not fined or not given a ticket for when you're being a bad person and you leave trash on the ground. Yes, littering sucks. And I always feel bad when I see a piece of garbage in a place that is otherwise very clean and meant to be respected. But there's very rarely an incentive for doing the right thing. We, slap people on the wrist for doing the wrong thing, or we give them a fine or make them pay money. We very rarely incentivize people for doing the good thing. So there'd be some type of countrywide like cleanup thing, and then people get incentivized for it, or you get an extra loaf of bread in your groceries because you've been so clean. I would do something to figure out a way to create an incentive for people to just not be dicks and dirty up the country they live in. You live here, so does everybody else. Take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's so weird. Like, again, this is one that I could talk about for fucking hours. Like that point exactly of like whether it's good to incentivize or punish and how that works and the whole broken window theory and all of that. Like genuinely, like my mind was blown the first time I went to Vegas, and the fact that the streets, like even when they were fucking crowded, the streets were just clear all of the time. Like, there was no cigarette butts, there was no anything, and it was just, and it was partly because there was an army of people that were going around cleaning, but also like it was little things like there was bins every 20 yards. There was, like stuff was set up to be able to alleviate that problem. So yeah, I think I think that's not a bad shout. However, implementation would be an interesting thing.
True. Plus, there's a little comment. Look at the newest comment. But then the cleaners have no job. That's the attitude of my students.
Oh my God,
this is a thing that's come up. Like people are like, but then that's their job, is to clean up your food tray after you get done eating places, and it frustrates me to no end.
Yeah, that the last time I heard someone say that was when I was working in, I think it was a pub in Warsaw, and one of the, like, basically
Poland.
this no, the one above Birmingham, Walsall. From Dudley, this kid, he was like 18, 19, and he just like basically knocked over a couple of glasses and just went, oh, fucking whatever, and went to walk away. And the I can't remember which pub this was. It was like a all bar one or something like that, like one of the big chain pubs. And this kid did that, and the bouncer turned around to him and was like, "Are you gonna clean that up?" He was like, "No, that's what the fucking cleaners are for." And he said exactly that, like, "Oh yeah, but if I cleaned it up, they'd be out of a job, wouldn't they?" And the doorman, I shit you not, just slapped him across the face and just went, "I'm just doing my bit for nurses." It was fucking hilarious.
That is a great answer.
Because the kid was just there going, "Oh fuck, what do I do?"
Better go get that looked at. Luckily,
yeah,
create a job security in the other people.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no. We'll put. Yeah.
There's a Gary Oldman, Ian Holm reference here, but I'm going to leave it to the imagination.
Oh.
Robots, maybe.
Right. Are we? Is there any more questions?
I'm fresh out of questions, but that means nothing.
One sec.
I just think.
What is one thing you will never do again? Talk, apparently.
Hold on,
Steve, you can't just jump into that.
I know. You talked 5 minutes ago about how we never really get to give things the full energy because they're on the fly. That is a super deep question.
Really is.
I'll say this. In an ideal world, I would continue working towards being self-sufficient and working for myself. Like that's what I want to do, is support myself and not necessarily work for anybody else, right? I don't want to be under a payroll for anybody else. That's aspirational, but what it really, like a more feasible or tangible aspect to look at would be, I never want to do work for someone that doesn't appreciate the work I do. Nice. Because it's just been too much of that in my life where I've really busted my ass. I know a lot of us have done that as well. But even clients, like if you are doing freelance work and you're just killing yourself, slaving away at whatever the project is, and then you don't get the appreciation from it. It's what I was talking about last week with the Simon Sinek thing. If you listen to that, which I know Soph did. Soph, I know she gets this, but you should, like, the way that you produce your work, whatever that work is, the way that it is received is very important. And you should always feel like you are appreciated. Doesn't have to be talked about all the time. You don't need pats on the back all the time for doing your job, but you should be respected and appreciated for any work that you do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise you one.
Oh. I was just gonna say, like, I'm not sure if I entirely agree with that.
Steve likes to be shouted at and told off for it.
Yeah, that's what working for Al gets you. But like, I think I half agree, but also like I don't think you should. I guess it depends on the work you're doing, but like for me, I get what you're saying about like not wanting pats on the back or not needing pats on the back, but also wanting to be appreciated. But to a certain extent, like your enjoyment of the task should be more important than whether or not someone places value on that task. Does that make sense?
If you're a narcissist, yep.
Well, no. Why? How is that a narcissist?
As long as I'm fucking enjoying myself, woo!
Well, no. As in, like, why? Like, as in, surely it's more important that you're enjoying what you're doing than whether someone else likes what you've done. Does that not make sense?
But you could do something that's strenuous and unenjoyable and get a pat on the back for it, and you wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So you're just saying that everything you do has to be enjoyable.
Yeah, no, Steve. If you were working at the bar, if you were working at the bar and you had a vomit or shit attack in the bathroom, and you had to be in charge of cleaning it up, was that you going, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this, and no one's going to think different.
No, but at the same, I'm not saying that I would do that as part of. I wouldn't want to do that because someone was appreciating the fact that I was doing it. I'm doing that because it's part of the job. Like I'm not saying like you should enjoy every single thing you do, but I don't think that you should base your career on whether or not other people appreciate what you're doing.
I agree.
Fair enough.
I didn't realize it was about careers, but I'm gonna take us off piece as usual. There's nothing that. Hang on, what was the question again? What would you not want to do again?
Yeah. What's one thing that you'd never want to do again, or you never will do again?
Never will do again. Hopefully, anything.
What?
Well, hopefully, everything I do is something that I've never done before, and hopefully, everything that I've done, I don't want to do again.
Okay.
I can't think of the monotony or the inane like depression of repeating tasks or so. But even the nuanced stuff. So again, nail analogy. You might have to make another nail, but you're going to make it differently than you did last time. So it's not doing it again, is it? It's doing it better or doing it differently or doing it quicker or stronger. And on the flip side of that, everything in my life, I think I'm not one for density, Lewis. But even all the shit that I didn't enjoy, all the shit that I did enjoy, all the shit that was boring, all the shit that was mediocre, melancholy, it's all led to this point.
Yeah.
And one of those things didn't happen. I'm not sat here right now. So I'm glad everything happened. Even the stuff that made me cry, that made me bleed, that made me smile. It's all the same, and it's all led to here. So I don't ever want to do any of it again, but I don't regret any of it either.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess maybe that's like ties into kind of what I was saying or what I was trying to say just now is like the fact that there are some times when you're not going to be appreciated for doing a job, but it that it leads to something better. So it might be a bit shit for 6 months, a year, or whatever. But if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or there's an end goal in mind, then that's kind of that to me is more important than whether or not you're appreciated at the time. But yeah, I think for me, the one thing that I don't think I'll ever do again is say no to an opportunity based on how it might possibly affect someone else. As in, like, I'm not going to say no to something just because it might affect. So, like, if I know for sure that saying yes to whatever opportunity is going to be detrimental to someone that I care about, then I might not do it, or I might at least consider it a bit more.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But I'm not gonna say no to it just on the basis that it might possibly in some way affect someone else, because sometimes you just gotta fucking do shit because it and you can't live your life based on what other people are doing, because that would not be spiffing.
Kill's in the house.
Kill.
Just in time for spiffing.
Live.
Yeah.
If we'd have thought ahead, we could have interjected the jingles.
I did actually look into whether that was possible, and to the point where I was thinking, like, can I just play it on my phone into the microphone? And then,
oh god,
because
I was doing. What was I doing?
I don't know what you said. What I was doing about 40 times, and I still don't know.
Right?
Ooh,
and I was like, "Oh, can I get a?"
I love the fact that they fade as well.
See, this is what I opted for the 300 millisecond classic fade, Steve. But what I wanted to go for was a Lucas-esque clock wipe. It wasn't having it, but one of the options was to transition to another piece of media. So we could have gone. Boop, and see.
It would have been an animation of like paper cut out Steve's face, just going paper, 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 paper. All right, what's the order, Al?
That's Rob saying it. Don't fucking jump in like you're the one that picks the order. Yeah, that was Rob that said it, not me. So it would have been.
We're not. We're still live, right? This isn't.
Yeah, it's fine. They all know what we're like. But yeah, like it would have been fucking great having getting Rob on for it. Because we got him on last year before last.
Rubble Boy.
Yeah.
Rubble Boy.
Rubble Boy. Fuck, that was a good thumbnail. Right.
They're all good thumbnails.
There's some of them are fucking brilliant. That one, the floating island, not floating island, fucking hell. Your one that you did
Castle
the other day.
in the Sky.
That's it. Thank you. So I think I talked about this in an episode previously. Like that was one of the Ghibli films that I watched as like a kid.
Yeah.
And was always like, I fucking love it. And I could never figure out, never found it again until I was like in my late 20s. I was like, oh fuck, this is the film that fucking impacted me as a kid. And yeah, I fucking love Ghibli.
You were the Golem. It was the right place for you to be.
Avec Beret.
Yeah. Yes.
We're just waiting for you to do the thumbnail, Steve.
Yeah. I ain't got the skills to do it. We've already discussed this. I would more than happily do it, but I can't.
Can one forge a thumbnail? It's got nail in the name.
Ooh.
It's just a photo of Steve's thumb next to a nail. God damn it, he's gonna do that at some point.
As I say, can you remember fucking about? So this is a little bit of thing because obviously this is going to get cut out of the actual episode.
Is it?
In the chat, yeah, maybe.
This is the episode.
For the people in the chat,
you're in one.
The people in the chat, there was a time last year where Brett had a habit of, like, in Facebook Messenger, if you hold the thumbs up, it just goes into a big thumbs up, where Brett would do the big thumbs up. Yeah. And it ended up that, like, it was just each of us putting a bigger and bigger thumbs up. And then it ended up being just taking photos of a thumbs up. And I think, I can't remember how many things it got onto, but I basically ended up crafting a thumbs up sign out of some chicken breast whilst I was cooking. It was fucking glorious.
It escalated. Yes, it was very fantastic.
It was good. Right, Al, have you got an order?
Yeah, it's not Bass. It's Sab.
Sab, which means I am first. I'm
going to take mine.
I said who mine was going to be before we started recording the episode. So you can't claim that I've taken it because I said, like, oh, I'm going to do this person. But I am now very conflicted about spiffing him because he asked a very bizarre question in the chat, which made us all kind of uncomfortable. But he did also make a hammer that looks like a schmore. So, Mr. Keith Decent, I
spiffed him like 2 weeks ago.
He fucking didn't. It was months ago. But like, he's just fucking ace. Like, I love Keith. He makes really fucking cool, interesting stuff. He asks horrible, weird questions.
He's on board with my national service industry.
Yes, he is. Although he was very upset with me not seeing. He was very upset with me about not seeing Powder. But he's just fucking brilliant. And
is he seen Scum? No, he hasn't, has he? So
exactly.
Let's keep it relative.
Well done, Al. Thank you. What was I going to say? Yeah, his podcast, the From the Ground Up podcast, is fucking great, and I fully appreciate that there's a shitload of work that goes into it, so you can't just knock them out every week. But man, it was so good.
I bet he's just happy to do the podcast without anybody really appreciating or supporting him.
Al, you're next.
So, seeing as how we did a bit of a trip down memory lane with some of these questions, I'd like to respiff and go back in time to something that we talked about a long time ago. So
fucking transitions.
I came. I'm gonna fucking build this into every week now just to annoy you two. There was
so distracting though.
A YouTube channel that I spiffed, I want to say 2 years ago, might even be longer than that, called Skill Builder.
Yes, I remember that.
Roger Bisbee. I'm Roger Bisbee at Skill Builder.
Yeah,
and he's a bloke from like Essex or somewhere, a generic London.
London.
It was kind of just very down to earth, on the job, like actually live jobs, just talking about building and contracting. And he's a plumber by trade, but you know, he'd get the sparkies in and the carpenters in and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like late 60s, maybe even like older. So he's been around the block. He knows exactly what's going on, but he likes to keep on top of the latest trends and cutting edge stuff. So he'll bring stuff in. He's like, oh, here's the new skylight windows from this company. They're great because they do this, blah, 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 blah. And I'd not watched it for ages. It was classic YouTube, even though I'm subscribed, bell on, whatever. Not seen his videos for years, literally years.
Yeah.
And they've done a whole series lately of like an extension. So just building an extension. So essentially building a house from scratch. You know, everything from the foundations up, sewers, walls, windows, timber frame roof, everything. Electrics, you know, plastering, and it was just great. It was like seeing a house being built. And it was just every episode, regular episodes. And he's brought in experts of different fields. He's brought in a carpenter who's really good. He's, you know, and it's just a really down to earth, great channel. If you've not watched it, and if you're interested in building your own home or renovations or what to look out for if you're getting someone into your house, Skill Builder is fucking great. And he also does like, you know, which drill driver is best, or which hand plane is best, or which, you know, he'll do tool reviews that are really just completely objective. And, you know, here's my reasons why, you know, very like average Joe, like here's my reasons why this one is good and this one is not good. Yeah. So yeah, check it out.
Nice. And that is a hell of a callback, because that was episode 11 that you spiffed in. Yeah. So that's 4 years ago.
There you go.
So yeah, good shout. In fact,
but that tells you a lot, that in 4 years I've not been getting his fucking videos on my feed.
Honestly, like I don't see any of the people that I'm subscribed to coming up on my YouTube homepage. It's fucking annoying. But that was also that was the episode after we first had Mr. Brett on.
There you go.
So there you go. See. Speaking of Brett,
that's me.
Who would you like to spiff, my friend?
Well, since we've talked about people that we've spiffed in the past, right? This is a good transition. Topics we'd like to discuss in the future, or maybe revisit some things with all of the new updates. Thank you, Al. This is
that was a
very, very helpful. I'll go back to one of my earliest spiffs, and somebody who has graced us with her presence and is always being very supportive. She's been referenced a few times in this episode, but I think Soph would be worth having back, having a check-in, seeing what she's been up to. I mean, she works very hard. She's done nothing but grow since we had her on, and since we first got to meet her. I think it's just been a delightful journey to watch. You know, we have so many people that we've known for the last few years that have all been progressing in their skills and then finding their own niche and niche. Soph was one of the people that I found early on, got chatty with, got to hug her at Maker Central, and have just been really enjoying watching her journey over the last few years. And, you know, if we're going to start revisiting people and having new banter based on old episodes, she was one of my first spiffies.
And also, I go like to tie this all the way back to the beginning when we were talking about festivals and things like that. I'm pretty sure that if Soph was to come along to one of the festivals when we're there with the Forge, she's one of the only people that I know that could drink pints of wine with big.
Say it properly.
I'm not doing a Welsh accent. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, no, that is a fucking brilliant shout. We should definitely. I don't know if you can hear Murph. He's just snorting at himself. He's getting a bit overexcited. But yeah, no, I definitely think we should get Soph back because she's fucking ace. I love Soph. So
and just think about it when we had her on. Like, I'm not trying to say anything that would embarrass her or make her feel silly, but think about that first recording. Like, she had her iPhone headphones in, and we were having audio problems, and she's like, we were all kind of new to each other, and we didn't really know a lot, and she was working on these, the vinyl figures and everything. Now she's a fucking powerhouse. She's done all these things and these beautiful paintings. She come back on now. She's probably got like a full podcasting booth ready to go. She can build miniatures of whatever she needs to, so she can show us like, visual accompaniment to all the stories. It'd be so different and so crazy this many years later.
The best of it is, every time I think of Soph, I think of a phrase that I've never actually heard her say. I've just heard you two say at each other in reference to Soph, which is "no looking." No looking. Every time.
That's because you weren't there while she was making the Al's Hack Shack saying, "Don't look it."
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. But that's how fucking iconic Soph is. So
yeah.
Good shout. Yeah, everyone go give Soph some love because she's fucking ace. Right. Is there any other business?
Not from me.
No. Right. In which case, wait, have I got anything? Was I going to say something?
Probably back
I said,
about Alex.
Go buy Al's book.
Yeah,
I've already said about the book. Fuck you both.
Abertech.
Yeah, Arbortech. Yeah, go buy some Arbortech stuff. If you want to find us, shut the fuck up. If you want to find us, you can find us in all of the usual social media places. You can find me at Moonshine Metalworks. You can find Brett at Skull and Spade 13, and you can
too far away.
Find.
I was going to go for the puppet, but it's way over there.
I'm being as fucking slow as I can.
Yeah, but I'm surrounded by cameras. Like, don't be fooled by the composition, Steve. I can't move.
You can find Al's Hack Shack.
You can.
Good one. If you want to find us, you can find us as a group pretty much everywhere as FWT Podcast or Fools with Tools. We are even on the YouTube, and considering how fucking easy StreamYard was to use, there is potential that we might actually do a few more lives at some point in the future. I know, maybe. I'm not saying right now.
I can't do drinks.
Steve. Oh, I'm just saying.
Can't even get everybody to schedule Sundays anymore.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I'm not saying now. I'm just saying, like, at some point we might. Fucking hell, not a regular thing. But yeah, so we might do some more lives at some point. So go subscribe on YouTube so you don't get to miss all of the stupid faces that Al has been pulling.
Red goes, you say that every year. Well played, Red.
Well, yeah, it was fine when we could do Hangouts on air, and then they fucking removed that application and we couldn't. But now we've got this and it works and it's free. So
this is most good.
This is fucking brilliant. I'm so happy with this because you haven't got to have the YouTube stream open.
Come on, Andy Pugh's got a podcast to do, and that also rhymes. So jog on.
Yeah, Andy needs the loo. What have I done everything? Yeah. So until next time, we love you all, and we'll see you in the future. Maybe. We love you. Bye.
Bye. You can't do everything, man.